We don't want to, but we'll talk about it anyway. We just want it to stop. Coming up next, I guess. Welcome to the Point a Minute show on Michigan football at the Voice of College Football, where we average one outstanding point for every minute of video. My name is Cliff. His name is Mac. Let's get into it. Preseason Phil Steele of the college football magazine, Phil Steele, had Michigan ranked, believe it or not, third in the Big Ten. Here's a quote from Phil's forecast. They remain one of the best teams in the country and could still get back to the playoffs. He's talking about Michigan, and I'm not kidding. Phil is not exclusively a Michigan fan. He bases his forecast on the numbers. He's going by the stats that are down in the record for everybody to see. He ranked Michigan as one of the least experienced teams in the FBS this year, but still thought, again, based on the numbers, that Michigan could make it to the playoffs. Here we are, 7 games into the season. Michigan is unranked with a record of 4-3. We could talk about what happened in Illinois, but honestly, the problems feel bigger than just one game. So looking at the Michigan issues overall, Mac, is coaching, is it coaching malpractice? Is that really what's to blame, or did Michigan lose a lot more talent than we thought?
I'm going to answer that by telling you a little story. Okay, because I like stories. Everyone likes stories. So grab some popcorn and get tucked in and get ready.
Roast.
Devin Gardner on Monday Morning Quarterback, he told this story where, so he goes to the Elite 11 competitions, you know, the quarterback competitions and all that. And he said that there's this quarterback prospect there from Hawaii named Jiren. I'm going to butcher this last name, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Jiren Sagat. I think that's right.
I think that might be pretty close. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Sagapulitele exists. Nobody knows who this kid is, right? He was one of the last pick to go. I think that's how it works. I honestly don't know a ton about the Elite 11. Maybe I should. But the kid ends up just balling out. Like, he does extremely well. He ends up taking a top 2 or 3 spot in like every competition. Devin Gardner gets on the phone with coaches at Michigan, begging them to offer the kid right then and there. Devin Gardner even asked Jiren if he would consider going to Michigan, and he said yeah, because he's literally got nothing else at that point. Up to that point, he had nowhere else to go. So yeah, he'd go to Michigan. Well, no one from Michigan ends up contacting him, and now he's committed to Cal. The Cal Bears. Yes, that Cal. So recruiting-wise, yeah, we have Jaden Davis. He's on campus. Obviously, he's not playing this year, but and he shouldn't be. We also have Carter Smith, who is currently committed. I say currently. We'll see what happens there. So they've got 2 good up-and-coming QBs. But why didn't anybody contact this guy? Depth is not a bad thing in your quarterback room, guys. Why didn't we grab a quarterback in the transfer portal, given how bad quarterback play is right now? Did they not see this over the offseason? What was going on? Now, obviously, Sharon Moore was hired late in the game, so there weren't any good options in the transfer portal. Fine. But why didn't we even try? Why didn't we at least look? And why is Sharon Moore saying all of these things all offseason about how good this team is when we don't currently have a quarterback on the roster that's better than me? Looking at the way Tuttle is playing, was the plan actually to have him start the season, but he got injured, and so they went with Warren Davis instead? Davis Warren. Yeah, Davis sorry. Warren. Now I'm pulling a U and getting his name wrong. But why Davis Warren and not Orji when Orji was the one getting reps against Ohio State and Alabama last year, guys? I mean, okay, so Gardner also mentioned that Alex Orji was kind of getting a foothold against Washington. I go back and forth. I don't really think so. But then he was pulled probably because Washington goes up 14-0 and Sharon Moore panics. So I went back and looked at the stats. Alex Orji was 3 for 7 for 15 yards, and the offense really wasn't getting anywhere. So yeah, I humbly disagree with the great Devin Gardner over whether or not Orji should have been benched. I think it was good to bench Orji at that point and bring in Tuttle. The lesson that they should have learned there, though, is that Jack Tuttle is a Band-Aid, and the long-term solution to Michigan's offense is relying on the running game, which it has always been. That is the long-term solution to this. But what did Kirk Campbell decide to do against Illinois? He let Tuttle, get this, he let Jack Tuttle throw the ball 32 times. Do you know how many games last season J.J. McCarthy had where he threw the ball more than 30 times? Do you want to take a guess?
3.
3.
Was it 3? All right.
It was 3. Yeah, it was literally 3. J.J. McCarthy only threw the ball 30-plus times in 3 games last season. You take those games away. If you take away the games where he threw 30-plus passes, do you know what his average attempts per game is? It's 19.
Okay.
19. This team went 15-0 with J.J. McCarthy throwing the ball 30 times in only 3 games. So what in the world are we doing letting Jack Tuttle throw the ball 32 times? He was also sacked 5 times, and on the play where Tuttle fumbled, Illinois rushes 6 players with 3 over top of Michigan's right guard and right tackle. You can see that on the play, the guard, and I can't remember who it was, I didn't see very well, but the guard picks up the inside man and leaves the edge rusher free and clear to take out Tuttle. Now, normally the running back is supposed to pick up that block, but there was another edge rusher coming in from Michigan's left side that Edwards actually picked up pretty well. I think it was Edwards. But why wasn't there any communication from the O-line, from Jack Tuttle, from someone on the coaching staff to pick up that extra rusher? Why didn't anyone audible? Why didn't anyone bring in an extra tight end? What was going on with that? Illinois was bringing 6 guys, and no one communicates to bring in an extra blocker. Jack Tuttle immediately has to take off. The pocket immediately collapses. He runs into his own guy. He actually ends up picking up the first down, but then fumbles. His interception in the second quarter was just wild. There was nothing there. Not only was the throw right to the defender, but it was also thrown about 5 yards behind, I think it was Colston Loveland. So there was no way Loveland was going to be able to make a play on the ball anyway.
It was his best throw of the game, but it was to the wrong guy.
Yeah, really though. So why are we asking him to throw 32 times in a game? He had 22 pass attempts in the second half. Do you understand what that means? He had 22 pass attempts in the second half. That means that this coaching staff watched him go 60% in the first half with an interception, albeit it was called back, and a fumble, and said, yeah, let's give him the ball more. No! That game wasn't even out of reach in the second half. They could have played Harbaugh ball the entire second half, letting Mullins mow down everyone for 2 quarters, and honestly probably would have won it. So yes, this is coaching malpractice. It doesn't make any sense what they're thinking. I feel like they're calling plays like JJ is still the quarterback. There just is no reason for Jack Tuttle to be throwing the ball 32 times in a game, ever.
Well, then here we are with, 5 games left in the season. 3 of those games are against ranked teams. What is Michigan's answer for quarterback then?
I don't think there is an answer. I don't think it's an answer as much as it's who gives them the best shot at a bowl game. You know, and maybe that's the question at this point. So maybe there is an answer, and I would actually say I think that the answer is probably Alex Orji, but you know, I say that I say that meaning answer in as much as there could possibly be an answer at this point. I thought Jack Tuttle would be better. We were told that Davis Warren was good, but both of them turned the ball over a lot. Alex Orji, for the most part, actually kind of takes care of the ball. He does have the 1 interception against Minnesota, but again, the coaches should be scheming up accordingly, according to his skill set. Devin Gardner mentioned this too, actually. I thought this was a really good point. Amorion Walker is really fast. Use him as a downfield threat and throw to him once or twice just to show that you're willing to try. But those throws should be like 2 or 3 of maybe 15 total pass attempts in a game. That's it. There is no reason why any quarterback should be throwing the ball more than 20 times a game right now. And honestly, I think that's pushing it to me. So you get Orji back in there and let him run and use his physicality. Run a bunch of smoke screens if you need to keep the defense guessing about what's going on. I don't mean like literally run a bunch of screens, although, maybe it's a short pass and Edwards is pretty good at those. But I mean, literally just try and fake out what you're doing. Switch things up a little bit. Get the receivers running shorter routes and do not let Alex Orji drop back in the pocket because the pocket is collapsing fast. This O-line cannot block. If Orji does throw, it should only be on play action. But Mullings and Edwards need to be the workhorses of the game. And I don't care if they have to bring a 2 tight end heavy set. I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that. On every single play. Okay, I don't care. I don't care if the defense knows what you're going to run. Do it anyway. Penn State last season had a better defense than Michigan State and Northwestern currently do, and Indiana too, I think. Even if you tell them ahead of time what you're doing, all you're doing is running the football, do it anyway. Just use everybody to clear a path for Mullings or Edwards. I think that's the answer.
So real quick, Michigan is actually still favored against Michigan State coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no, does Michigan win that game? And I think we'll leave it right there. What do you think about what we think? Leave a comment and let us know. You can find us on X. My handle is at DAWG Team Rivalry, and Max is at B1G Team Rivalry. Stop by and give us a follow over there. If you want more great analysis on college football, don't forget to check out all the shows right here on Michigan Football at the Voice of College Football and all the Voice of College Football channels. You can also catch Mac and I live on the Big Ten Team Rivalry show on our YouTube channel, Monday nights at 8. Mac, take us out.
This is Michigan Football at the Voice of College Football.